Hello, welcome everyone to the IT Solutions webinar, Supercharge Your Law Firm, Practical AI with Microsoft Copilot. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to connect with us today. My name is Kate Smith, and I'm the Vice President of Client Success here at IT Solutions. I'm also joined today by our VP of Solution Team, Tyler Sanders, and we're excited to discuss how Microsoft 365 Copilot can supercharge the legal space. More specifically, we're going to share how you can leverage and effectively adopt AI in a way that enhances productivity without compromising on data privacy or security. Thanks to our existing partnerships with Microsoft and dedicated clients like you, we're able to help guide you through this evolution. Before we dive in, I do want to cover a few housekeeping items. All of our attendees are in listen-only mode to avoid any feedback or bandwidth issues. The webinar is being recorded and will be made available to all registered attendees. Please look for the recording in your inbox in the coming days after today's session. We absolutely love questions, so please feel free to use the Q&A button on the bottom of the Zoom, and we'll field all of those questions at the conclusion of today's session. AI is reshaping how legal professionals work, and Microsoft Copilot is leading that change. Today, we're going to discuss how Copilot integrates directly into Microsoft 365 with tools like Word, Outlook, and Teams to streamline everyday tasks, to empower staff to accomplish more, and to enhance customer service. We'll also explore real use cases tailored to the legal industry. We will break down cybersecurity and compliance essentials, and we'll show you how to get started with a successful Copilot rollout. Whether you're leading a law firm, managing operations, or supporting an organization's technology environment, today's session will equip you with practical knowledge to make your organization smarter, faster, and future ready. So let's start today with why are we here discussing AI? And more specifically, why Copilot? We've been seeing a massive surge in interest around AI across organizations of all sizes. In fact, Microsoft found that over 90% of business leaders have used AI tools. But this adoption by employees at large often happens in a fragmented manner. These are using different public AI tools that aren't governed, which can put a law firm's data at risk. Some organizations have even banned AI use due to these concerns. And that's really where we come in. As your trusted IT partner, it's our responsibility to help you understand and adopt AI securely so your team can use AI with confidence and capitalize on the benefits. Before we really dig in further to Copilot, I do want to take a moment to cover the basics of really what's powering these AI tools. Large language models, or LLMs. These models are trained on vast amounts of text to understand and generate human language. A common type of LLM is called a GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. That's just a technical way of saying it can predict and generate natural sounding language by really understanding context. Some well-known tools that fall under this category of LLMs include Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini. Each of these tools is powered by LLMs behind the scenes, but how they're used and how they're kept safe, well, that really depends heavily on where and how they're deployed. When organizations first start exploring AI assistance, employees often think of ChatGPT, which is powerful, but also disconnected from your business's processes and cybersecurity policies. This is one of the many reasons we're recommending Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, this AI assistant for work. We've just discussed Copilot is an LLM, or a language learning model, and is directly embedded into the tools you already use, like Word and Outlook, Teams, even Excel. It will help your law firm get more done by summarizing information, generating content, automating repetitive tasks, and so much more, all within the security of your M365 environment. What's also great is that it's not necessarily a new platform to learn. Microsoft Copilot leverages the tools and applications that many of us are already using and relying on today. Moreover, AI isn't just a trend or a buzzword. Here today because it's a competitive differentiator and advantage. Organizations that adopt it thoroughly and thoughtfully are seeing improved efficiency, faster decision making, and empowered teams that can accomplish even more with less. Copilot provides the best of both worlds. It drives creativity and productivity while adhering to your existing policies and uses the Microsoft enterprise grade security to boot. Let's dig into some of the security a little bit. It's one of the biggest concerns that our clients have around adopting and using an AI practice today. Microsoft has built Copilot with enterprise grade safeguards from the ground up, and that means your data stays up to date. It's not used to train public AI models, and it's protected within your existing Microsoft 365 environment. Every interaction with Copilot honors your organization's compliance policies and security settings, including role based access and information protection. But ensuring Copilot operates securely and effectively in your environment does require thoughtful preparation, like the proper data discovery, identity configuration, and security hardening, which we'll dive into a bit later. And we are available to continue the discussion with you after today's session or at any time. And for additional peace of mind, Microsoft's customer copyright commitment ensures you're protected from claims when using their AI tools responsibly. In short, this isn't consumer AI. It's secure, compliant, and designed for professional use at scale. Microsoft 365 Copilot is an add-on available for Microsoft 365 for Business Suite. You have options, and the plan you choose determines the level of security and compliance controls available to your Microsoft 365 environment and Copilot, protecting your data, devices, and applications. Microsoft 365 Business Basics and Business Standards, as shown on the left, provide foundational security controls, including MFA, multi-factor authentication, basic security defaults, to help safeguard your law firm from identity-related attacks such as password spray, replay, and phishing. They also include standard compliance controls, allowing users to search and export Copilot interactions, log user activities, and apply retention or deletion policies. Microsoft 365 Business Premium, as shown on the right, offers more comprehensive security controls, which includes everything in Business Basic and Business Standard, plus more. Conditional access with Entra ID builds on the MFA and other areas to add more capabilities to searching and exploiting Copilot interactions. Business Premium also allows the use of manual sensitivity and retention labels for files and emails. Users can protect access to sensitive data in Copilot interactions with DLP or data loss prevention policies. This slide was really designed to provide a high-level overview of the controls, but there are additional add-on features and controls available using Office and Microsoft 365 for Copilot. As we continue the conversation around security and control, it is important to understand the difference between using free, unlicensed Copilot versus deploying a fully licensed Copilot solution. Unlicensed Copilot chat offers basic functionality. You can enter prompts, you can ask questions, you can even upload files. However, it operates in isolation from your M365 environment. It does not have access to your internal systems, communication history, or your organization's security policies. In contrast, licensed Copilot is built to work inside your Microsoft environment. It's connected to a private, secure instance of the AI model that's integrated with your tenant. This allows licensed employees to pull in relevant content from Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, making Copilot smarter and more context aware without compromising your data integrity. The integration is what makes licensed Copilot both more powerful and more secure. It honors your Microsoft compliance settings, leverages existing identity and access policies, and it stays entirely within your protected cloud ecosystem. That's my favorite part. Our team is available to discuss the path forward here, whether all users are licensed or some users are licensed, some hybrid model in between. We are always happy to discuss a solution that fits for your organization's needs. Now that we've seen how Copilot can support you generally, I'd like to hand the floor over to Tyler Sanders, who's going to walk us through some of the top challenges facing law firms and how AI can help. Tyler has worked closely with our legal clients and industry partners and comes from a team that was primarily law firm focused. He has deep insight into the complexities that you are navigating today, from high caseloads to evolving client expectations. Tyler, over to you to unpack the trends we're seeing and where Copilot is already providing value.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kate. And that was a terrific introduction to Copilot. And one of the things I'd like to highlight too that you just went over was the licensed versus the unlicensed version. And what I think is important to understand also is a lot of firms and businesses out there are using even just ChatGPT now, the unlicensed version. And the big difference here with the Microsoft unlicensed version is that it's going to keep your data secure and private. It's not going to use it to help develop its own algorithms and its own learning. And it's also not going to share that publicly. So if you are using ChatGPT, the unlicensed version now, Copilot's free version can be a great alternative to help with that data protection. But what I want to dive into here are some specific use cases and legal industry challenges. So, what we consistently hear from our clients and in the legal space is that law firms are navigating a perfect storm of challenges, growing volume of cases, documents to manage, increasing pressure to maintain quality outcomes while improving efficiencies, and a legal landscape that's changing faster than it ever has. So these challenges aren't just operational, they have a direct impact on the profitability, client satisfaction, and the ability to be competitive in the marketplace. So whether you're a large firm handling thousands of matters or a boutique practice juggling complex litigation, the strain is real. So that's where we look at tools like Copilot and where they can assist. So when integrated thoughtfully and securely, Copilot can help legal professionals tackle these challenges head on. We've seen use cases like accelerating legal research, summarizing case law in seconds, drafting contracts, or even helping junior attorneys understand prior case strategy, tasks that traditionally eats up valuable time. A lot of this stuff are the use cases that I'm going to get into a moment. But what we'll do is, sorry, one of the key takeaways that we want to make sure you have is that generative AI isn't about replacing staff. It's about giving professionals a better starting point, saving time on routine work, and helping them stay focused on strategic thinking and client advocacy. So let's take a look at how these use cases align with the day-to-day operations within a law firm. So here's a specific case study that Microsoft provided to us. It's a real world example. A firm, personal injury firm, Disparity Law Group out of Chicago, faced the all too common challenge of outdated systems, inefficient workflows, First stage was they adopted Microsoft 365 Copilot, streamlined the intake process, and significantly improved productivity. This was also part of a bigger project to get rid of on-premise infrastructure and migrate a lot of those workloads up into Microsoft 365 and other cloud systems. So they're seeing a reduction in time of about 50% from routine tasks. So just a great example of how, Copilot isn't just hype, it's helping legal professionals serve clients faster, reduce IT burdens, and enhance collaboration across the teams. So let's make sure the audio comes through on this one. But Mel, if you could start that, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't hear it. So I'll explain what's happening in this video. It's it's going through and it's summarizing. We're following. If you've missed a meeting and you select to follow it, what it will do is Microsoft will do a full meeting recap of what happened in that meeting. And it's going to then send you a summary of all of the things that were discussed, any outcoming tasks or to-dos from that meeting, and next steps. So part of the strategy when you know you're using Copilot to record and transcribe essentially a lot of the meetings is some of the best practice around this can just be to speak as if somebody's taking notes in the background. So at the end of a meeting, you can do some follow-ups. Okay, so what we're going to do is, what the next steps and identifying the people that are taking the next steps, even being able to identify what the due dates or expected timelines are on those due dates. And that way, Microsoft, the Copilot, will send out summaries to everybody about it, and anyone that's missed it can easily catch up on that meeting and understand what was discussed, key priorities, key takeaways, and due dates and deliverables around it.
I love that, Tyler. So helpful in the background.
Next example here. So this is a great example that benefit a majority of employees. Most of us can agree that our inboxes are hard to manage, never-ending email threads and distractions that waste a lot of valuable time during the day. As you'll see here, Copilots is helping to summarize long email threads, draft appropriate responses based on the tone, level of uh, other it's level of sophistication in the parameters around that email. So we use this all the time. If you have a long email thread, you can just have Copilot identify what are the key takeaways from the email. What is the general urgency to it, tones, and you can have it help draft a response and at least get things started. Always recommend doing a final review, making sure that what it's summarized is accurate and what your response is going to be accurate. But a great way to cut down the amount of work on going through a long threaded email and having to catch up on that. So next, you want to go to the next example, Mel? Maybe you can fast forward through this one. This is a really good example for law firms. So this is to summarize and analyze a judgment. So what we're going to do is we're going to prompt Copilot to do that summary, and then we're going to also dive in deeper on a few specific prompts. So why have the petitioners argued that the rule is violative to Article 14 and Article 19? Let's start running through and I can talk about exactly what's happening as the examples come up. So you can see here, it's typing in the prompts. Can you help me summarize this case? It's working on the response. Depending on the length of the document is how long it will take to do that summary, but this is a fairly long document of 155 pages, and you'll see it's able to produce a summary in probably less than 60 seconds. So this is going to summarize, and it will also footnote all of the points that it's summarizing from the document, and that will hyperlink out so that when you click on those, it'll take you to the actual points within that document. so that it can support what the summary is. So now it's prompting, ask me anything about it. And this is where these specific, deeper questions can come up. So why have the petitioners argued that the rule is violative to Article 14 and Article 19, 1 and A? And it's combing through the documents. And there you go. It's been able to generate the response to that question. Okay, so now it wants to know on what grounds have the respondent relied on to establish the validity of the rules. Again, searching through, and it's going to once again reference specific points to substantiate what it's generating, and you can link out to those points. And then finally, why was the decision referred to the third judge? What is the final decision of the court? Please explain the reasoning of the court in arriving at the final decision. And so what Copilot, the licensed version, is able to do is it will look both internally in your environment. So it's, this specific document, other documents in your environment, and then it can also go out to the web and find other supporting facts. It will link out to all of the responses it pulls into that, so you can actually check to make sure that they're valid, valid links, valid sources of information to substantiate what it's produced. Okay, so now there's another summarize and analyze example here. So let's start running through this scenario. So what it's asking, what the person's asking, give me a detailed and crisp summary of this case in bullet points. And there you go again, less than a minute, it's able to highlight what the key points are from it. Now we're going to dive in deeper and ask, what is the concept of standard essential patents, friend? So as you can see there, if you could read some of that text, it is looking out on the web also to find supporting material to go with that question. And it's responded back on that. And now what are the arguments by Intex and Erickson? Give a detailed overview of the arguments presented in bullet point form. And generated that back. And then the final piece of this, the final prompt will be, what are the guiding principles laid down by the court on standard, essential, patents, and friends? Use bullet points, elaborate the response. And it's gone out on the web to pull some details around that and provide that summary there. So as you can see, I mean, you can keep going deeper into the queries to find out more about, about what's in the documents, what's, supporting evidence there is on the web around these cases, and helping to build out those summaries. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to use Microsoft Copilot to reference specific items. And, and I'll just go off to the next one. This one's takes a while to get through, so I think it's better. The example on the next one, drafting contracts. So what we're going to do is have it draft a share purchase agreements between the seller and the buyer. So it's going to reference specific documents that you link in to have it as a precedent for how to create a new document. And now we're going to have it generate that. So there you go. It's going to draft a share purchase agreement. And it's basing this on the documents that you provided as an example on how you want it drafted. And you can put more parameters. You could put the specifics of the sellers if you want, of the buyers, any other specifics you want to feed into this for it to populate. And again, in a matter of a couple of minutes, it's going to be able to draft the entire share purchase agreement template. And then you can go in and continue to work from this, continue whether through Copilot or just overriding Copilot and going directly into the document to populate information, or have it query from other areas even to help populate more information around this. Let's move on to the next one, Mel. Comparing contracts, this is another really good workflow that you can use Copilot for. That's constantly something that comes up in a law firm to compare two contracts. So you can have it do as many contracts as you want, feed in if it's in your 365 environment, you can just provide the names of the contracts you want. Otherwise, you can provide the actual two contracts and have it do the comparison of them. And then you can state whether you want bullet form, how much of a comparison you want, what specific things you may want it to compare. And there you go. It's generating in table format. It's going to show the two columns of the document and highlight then what are the differences between the two. Okay, let's move on to the next one, Mel. Let's go to Excel. We've probably seen enough of the word examples, but there's obviously a lot, so, a lot that can be done within Word. But all of the Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Office platforms, you can, if you have the licensed version, you'll see an option for Copilot to actually work within the application and prompt it from there. So unlike other OpenAI type of platforms, this one you have the embedded interface into it. So in this one, it really helps a lot if you're not an Excel expert, or even if you are, that you can have it generate different tables, pivot tables, do summaries, be able to generate formulas from it, be able to have it total different areas. So in this example, it's a marketing budget. And it's asking for what are the most successful marketing campaigns in terms of responses. asking it to build out different sheets within the spreadsheet, to build different graphs to highlight what the data is showing in there. Um, Able to add extra columns. So you're just prompting Copilot to do what you would normally be walking through manually in all of these. So if you wanted to add a column or a row to summarize things, add a column to do different calculations, you're just putting that prompt into Copilot and it knows what to build in the background in terms of Excel formulas, pivot tables, or other data sheets. So you can see from this, I mean, one, it helps save a lot of the deep understanding you may need in Excel to
Mhm.
do this type of work, and additionally, just cut down the amount of time that it takes to start to analyze data and break things down and build out more robust types of graphs and metrics around budgets, marketing campaigns, or any other type of spreadsheet work you're doing. So those are some examples in Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams. I mean, you can do PowerPoint. You can do just straight
Mhm.
queries out of both your SharePoint, your Outlook environment. Very powerful for being able to query different sets of information. So if you're trying to find an old email, and we know that Outlook search isn't always reliable, doesn't always return the results you want, you can actually query Copilot to find old emails based on things that might have been in the subject, might have been in the body of the email, might have been, the people that sent it. And it's going to be able to dive in and find that and link out to those emails very quickly. Same thing with documents in your 365 environment. It's able to pull that information very quickly.
Tyler, thank you so much. Seeing those use cases really gets the conversation started. I think a lot of our clients come to us and are unsure where to start with Copilot, even just in its basic form. So seeing some of those use cases and business cases helps us have the conversation, with our clients, and we're really excited to get started. So because there is so much opportunity with Copilot and because there's so much to consider, IT Solutions has developed a structured Copilot readiness program. This program walks you through every step needed to securely adopt and maximize value from Copilot. One of the best parts is that as your IT partner, we already understand how the business works in conjunction with the IT environment. It gives us a head start in ensuring that our clients are really set up for success.
So our Copilot readiness program, it's designed in three different phases. So we've got the discovery and readiness phase,
Mhm.
we've got the security and data protection phase, and we've got the adoption and empowerment phase. So what we're doing with each of these is the discovery and readiness phase is really designed to go in and understand what is in your 365 environment, what it is you're trying to accomplish with it. So understanding where there's some challenges in your workflows, where there's potential opportunities to use Copilot to help make things more efficient in those areas, and then understanding also what types of SharePoint site designs you have, what are the security and permissions. So a big part of securing Copilot starts both on the external security of it and also internally. So being able to classify data internally properly. So think of it as like ethical walls or file shares that you're trying to lock down certain access
Mhm.
to. Things like partner folders, HR folders, finance folders. Those are certain areas that we want to identify as part of this phase. Areas that need to have security put around it. And then the outcome from the discovery and readiness phase will move us into the security and data protection, because we'll have a much better understanding of the areas that need to be secured and protected. And then moving into the adoption and empowerment phase. So that's where we start to deploy things and build out the use cases.
Great.
S- So, Kate, yeah, I'll let you get into more of the specifics around each of the phases here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I love that we're starting this approach with discovery and readiness. We all know that if we don't start with good data, putting good data in, we're not going to get great results and great data out. So, the discovery and readiness phase is very important. It is concerning if organizations really rush to deploy a Copilot or AI strategy without really understanding how their environment is configured or what data Copilot will have access to. I mean, that's your point, Ty. We don't want, access to private, confidential, compliant files, for anyone in the organization to access. Without us really assessing a Microsoft 365 setup, we could end up with a Copilot surfacing outdated, irrelevant, or sensitive information for even the incorrect cases or situations. One example, and you even covered this, Ty, is we might accidentally expose HR documents, executive salaries. I mean, this is completely inappropriate, and we would could not happen in to our clients. So it is incredibly important that we start with the discovery and readiness phase.
Yep. And as we move into the security and data protection, I highlighted it a minute ago, but it's really twofold. So it's securing the perimeter and it's
Mhm.
also securing internally. And most of the security, the external security, is configured through the Microsoft 365 environment. So it's not like Copilot has the security controls within the Copilot environment. It's really
Mhm.
being able to protect the overall 365 environment and all of your other network areas. So part of that discovery phase is we're going to analyze all of those different areas, but then the internal portion, which is the obviously just as critical to making sure that you're not exposing any sensitive information internally, so that people internally aren't able to query, what are certain people's salaries maybe within the firm, or what did a case settle for, or what is a partner's salary, or anything
Mhm.
like that. So it's really important to go through and classify all of that information because, as I mentioned earlier too, Copilot is very good at being able to query information quickly. So much better than if you had, files on a share file.
Mhm.
Or files on a Windows folder structure, and you're trying to query those, or files in Microsoft Outlook, where it wasn't very good at being able to find results for those. Copilot is excellent at finding information and finding it really quickly. So it's really important to be able to understand where all of your data is and how we're classifying that so that only the correct people have access to it. And then securing the perimeter also.
Excellent. Such a good point, Tyler. Thank you. Now that one environment is really secure and ready, we would then move to phase three, which is adoption and empowerment. Phase three is really where the value comes to life. This phase is all about empowering our team members to use Copilot confidently and effectively, because even the best tool is wasted if we don't have user adoption. We go beyond flipping the switch at ITS. We provide practical enablement, showing law firms and legal teams how to use Copilot in their day to day workflows, sharing use cases, and offering simple training that sticks. We also monitor adoption and report on usage to help avoid wasted spend and underutilized licenses. I love that part. That's really helpful, I think. Our goal is really to turn Copilot into a productivity multiplier, not a line item that quietly gets ignored.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, I mean, Microsoft Copilot Scenario Library is another helpful resource that continues to get developed. It'll show a lot of examples of use cases by different functions, by different industries. So it's also a great way to learn about what Copilot can do for your firm. It maps the scenarios to Copilot product capabilities, which provide a blueprint for each function. Some examples of functions available in the scenario library include HR, marketing, sales, and more. It's one of those platforms where the more you start working with it, the more use cases you find and the better you get at leveraging it and querying it. It was sort of like in the early days of using Google, and you'd start to search for things a certain way, and then you figured out different approaches on how to search for information. Copilot, once you start working with it, you will realize that there's so many different ways to go about accessing information, comparing information, building out documents, bridging documents together, summarizing meetings, being able to automatically assign to-dos and tasks to others in the organization. So it's really what you put into Copilot is what you get out of it, because it does have a lot of capabilities that just require you interacting with it, getting comfortable and learning more and more from it.
So our attendees today might be thinking, why IT solutions? Why should you partner with IT solutions for a Copilot deployment? Well, again, first of all, we're not just here to flip a switch. We're here to be your partner. Our strategic advisors and team are eager to support your Copilot adoption journey if you choose that path forward. And we're uniquely positioned to support that journey for you. As a Microsoft certified partner, we've done the legwork to test and operationalize Copilot. And our Copilot readiness program is designed to help law firms adopt IT, to help adopt AI securely and effectively without reinventing the wheel. The truth is, there's so much more opportunity than we could fit into this session, from workflow automation to long-term Copilot governance. We're excited to help you uncover what's next, and we'd love to continue the conversation with your team. Before we start to wrap today and move into some Q&A, let's zoom out for a moment. Microsoft Copilot is transforming how work gets done for law firms and legal departments across the world. But to unlock that potential, it takes more than a license. It takes planning, protection, and people who are ready. Here are a few key takeaways from today's session. First, success with Copilot starts long before you turn it on. You need a strong foundation. Knowing what data Copilot can access, who can see that data, and whether the environment is actually ready are critical. Rushing in without that visibility puts a law firm at risk of compliance issues, confusion, or wasted spend. Second, our Copilot readiness program was built to help you avoid these pitfalls. From discovery and security to adoption and empowerment, we work with you and walk you through every step to ensure your rollout is secure, aligned to your goals, and delivers real outcomes. And lastly, even the most powerful tools won't make an impact if your people don't use them. That's why end user enablement is a core part of this. So don't just launch Copilot. Instead, let's realize its full value. One more quick headline before we move into Q&A. I want to share some upcoming events. We have partnered with some of our internal SMEs to launch events that specifically highlight all things Microsoft Copilot in combination with our vCISO and cybersecure programs. We'd love to talk to you about your specific AI questions or your AI journey, as well as how our internal vCISO programs can provide additional security around those deployments. We're coming to a few key cities. The dates and locations are noted in this webinar. Again, we'll have registration links, and if you'd like to attend, please reach out to your strategic advisor to reserve your spot at one of these exclusive events. We can't wait to see you there. Okay. That said, I appreciate everyone's time today on our webinar. We do have a few questions that came through in the chat. Let me pull a few of these up. And Tyler, if you would help me answer a few of these, I would be forever thankful.
Sure.
So the first question that came in today was, oh, this is a great one. Who should be involved in a Copilot implementation or in the readiness? Is it just the IT department, or are there other stakeholders that should participate as well?
Yeah, it should be a combination of the two. In some firms, I know they'll have a tech committee or even a partner committee. So it's important to have both groups involved in this. So if there is a tech committee, absolutely. Also, if there is some other sort of partner committee and stuff, it's good to have buy-in across the board on this. It's you're going to get out of Copilot what you put into it, as I've already outlined before, and very important that you go about it, as Kate was outlining also, with the proper process at like these three different phases, that it's not something you just want to roll out throughout the firm. You want to make sure that you're going to put the proper planning into it, the proper security controls, and then start piling it with a smaller group and expanding it out to a larger group as you start to use it more and more and gets find more use cases and more around the security checks and balances that we'll do.
Great, 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 great. The other one that we have in our chat, Tyler, is this is a really great one. How does Copilot handle complex workflows like e-discovery or IP management?
Yeah, it's able to query both internal documents, as we were showing in some of those videos, and also be able to query the web. So it's you're able to feed both types of parameters into it and have it pull results from both of those scenarios.
Perfect. Okay, and then one more. The last question that we have in the chat, Tyler, was can Copilot be used safely with client confidentiality requirements like attorney-client privilege? That's a great question.
Yes, I mean you have to make sure that all the safeguards in play are in place, right? So that it's secured from both the perimeter, secured both internally. But it is a secure platform. It is covered under Microsoft's HIPAA Business Association agreement. HIPAA compliance, however, does depend on how you configure and manage the access.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to check our chat to ensure that we've answered all of our questions. I don't see any other questions or concerns. I'd like to thank our attendees for your time today. And Tyler, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Microsoft Copilot and how, our legal clients can take advantage to really supercharge, their law firms.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks everyone for joining.
All right, have a good day. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.